Hey everybody, back again. I appreciate you all coming today. So yeah, we're doing something. It's been awaiting for a while. We did the first album, full album review with Gentle Giant, Acquiring the Taste, and now, as was planned, we did a poll for a full album, Joni Mitchell album, and what came out of that was basically a three-way tie between For the Roses, Court and Spark, and Hejira. But I think at the end, what came out was that had the most sort of interest, the most sort of passion to, and one that I would say that is a little bit deserving of a little bit more attention in her albums is For the Roses. And that's one also for me that has a very special place. So this is one that I have heard. All Joni Mitchell albums, most of them I have heard. There's a segment of albums after Hissing of the Summer Lawns, which I've heard a little bit less, and some that I may have not heard quite a bit. So there's definitely some material of hers. But anyway, yeah, this one, we're going to go on and do a few more full albums. We're going to do Gil Scott-Heron. And generally, I want to do ones that I have not heard before. But there are going to be some of the material on this channel are going to be some that I'm also putting out to the audience, full albums that are a little less known, that are looking to be rediscovered, and moreover of that. So yeah, this channel is going to evolve a little bit here and there. So I'm definitely going to be doing full albums, audience, do polls. I'm going to be doing great requests. So at least once a month, I'm going to be doing upcoming requests of you guys, and that I take a quick listen to here and there, and then I find that are the most bombastic, most kind of hit me over the top as far as great material that I've never heard before, and put that all into a sort of monthly segment of some great requests, audience requests, and just increase all of our, better inspirations from what we can gather, It takes a long time to hear music and hear what's out there, so it's great when we can share that. So without further ado, but this is going to be Joni Mitchell, For the Roses. So again, let's continue. Let us continue. So yeah, next one. This is Let the Wind Carry Me, number 5. Here we go.
Faith is people, Mama, she believes in cleaning. Papa's faith is in people, Mama, she's always cleaning. Papa brought home the sugar, Mama taught me the deeper meaning. She don't like my kick plate skirt, she don't like my eyelids painted green. She don't like me staying up late in my high-heeled shoes, living for that rock and roll dancing scene. Papa says leave the girl alone, Mother, she's looking like a movie queen. she spoiled me. Papa knows somehow he set me free. Mama thinks she spoiled me rotten. She blames herself, but Papa, he blesses me. It's a rough road to travel, Mama, let go now. It's always called for me. Sometimes I get that feeling and I wanna settle and raise a child up with somebody. I get that strong longing and I wanna settle and raise a child up with somebody. But it passes like the summer. I'm a wild seed again, let the wind carry me.
Yeah, she has such a wild variety of textures, I would say. And she definitely has a different, I feel like the piano songs, she just has a different path. There's always a different home base where she feels comfortable playing piano versus guitar. I don't know. So it's always it's very distinct feel for her piano songs. I feel they always kind of have this a little more breath in between them. They're not as much like they definitely have her changes. I feel like she's comfortable with for piano. So I'm trying to find the right way to say it, but yeah, I'd say her piano songs just sound distinct from her guitar materials, just in her arranging, just in her where she goes to, the choices she makes. So yeah, it's almost like a different style for her piano, not just the instrumentation. And then with this one, yeah, there's obviously they have her again, Tom Scott doing all these sort of reed. I don't know. It's hard to say. They sound so wild, honestly, compared to anything else with most music. I don't know what it is, but they just sound, the way he arranges them, they just have this like synthetic sound. And even it's almost like when she does her harmonies, when she's sort of doing a back and forth with the Tom Scott, arrangements, wind melodies, she's sort of mirroring them a little bit. And when she's doing those harmonies with herself, it also sounds kind of synthetic, the synthetic harmony. To me, I've always felt like it just sounds otherworldly a little bit. Maybe synthetic isn't the right word, but it just sounds, it doesn't have that sort of organic, earth mother, like she was saying for a lot of her stuff, it's just her and her instrument, So to me, she was doing these harmonies obviously before, but I feel like you can definitely hear the beginnings and the kernels of Court and Spark and the sort of, with the session players and the sort of feel, the textures that are going to come about, in the next couple of albums. And it's a very stark difference. I imagine for people hearing it, it just sounds like another world, it's like, so yeah, that's what I'm getting from this one. And there's a little instrumental in here, which, I don't know, it's okay. It's not as, to me, the chord, it's her melodies that go along with the chord changes. The chord changes can be very interesting and be very moving. And then her melodies just put it over the top. Her melodies on that. So to me, that's the strength, is when she's singing along with the chord progressions, for whether it's piano or guitar. That just creates, to me, that's just lush. It's just at the top, It's just and I can't compare it to anything else. Like her music. That's why I'm not talking about her music as much, because usually do it through comparison. What does it make you feel? What does it sound like? Does it sound like pop music? Does it sound like folk music? Does it sound like jazz? And people throw around these terms. You hear them all the time. Like, oh, this is where she started to get jazzy, and this is where she started to get. If she's using jazz style chords or jazz style voicings but that's such a, that's like saying like, oh, she used 3 paints in this picture, and so she's using her blues, or it's like, well, yeah, but it's good to break down the lyrics, break down all the chord progressions, all that stuff. But that's just, that's a piece of the puzzle. Not to say that it's good to just take it as a whole and that's it also. On this song, I really like it, obviously, when she's singing the melodies with the chords. To me, it's a beautiful combination. And whether you have the other parts there, whether she's doing sort of mimicking these sort of horn parts with her harmonies, doing that with, trading parts with Tom Scott, so they're arranging sort of these little things between her harmonies and their, it's great. Is it the best? Is it the most prominent part? Yeah. Well, to me, it's okay. It's experimentation, and it's very listenable. But just as far as the impact of the music, to me, I get it from her vocals, and it would sound to me, if it was just her and the piano on this particular track, let's say, I think it'd be very strong, just hearing her on the piano. I'm just saying, I guess for me, the extra parts, are maybe some little flourishes. There's a little decoration here and there, like a cake throwing some rose petals on it, but it doesn't really change the overall sustenance of what you're getting out of it. It's a little bit more flowery. Yeah. Okay. On this particular track. So yeah, I really do like it. I love, and the song, obviously, sort of this, again, it's always about struggle and change, and for her, there's always this, not the grass is always greener necessarily, but it's always this sort of struggle of tug of war of, what direction, you can only go, the path less traveled, the road less traveled. That's it. It's what road? But she states it, that she doesn't. It's a passing fancy. It's a passing phase of wanting this, and then you realize what you really want is to continue on the path that your instincts tell you that you want to follow, that you want to go down the path of spreading, as she says, I'm a wild seed, and let the wind carry me. Sometimes she wants to settle down, raise a kid, and there's a big thing between her father's style and her mother's style, and obviously there's this juxtaposition of their differences and their sort of the change the effect that her parents had on her and her lifestyle and how they deal with her now, and the significance that she feels from their style and their priorities of her and what's important in life. And how they deal with love, how the father deals with love, how he shows love, how the mother shows love. I think that was recorded later. I believe that was maybe published in October 30th. So just before the album came out, that might have been one of the later ones written. But let's go into the next one, which is the title track, halfway through, called For the Roses. Here we go.
Heard it in the wind last night, sounded like applause. Did you get around resounding for you way up here? Seems like many dim years ago since I heard that face to face, or seen you face to face. Though tonight I can feel you here. I get these notes on butterflies and lilac sprays from girls who just have to tell me they saw you somewhere. In some office sits a poet, and he trembles as he sings, and he asks some guy to circulate his soul around. On your mark, red ribbon runner, the caressing rev of motors finely tuned like fancy women in 30s evening gowns. Up the charts, off to the airport, your name's in the news, everything's first class. The lights go down and it's just you up there, getting them to feel like that. Remember the days when you used to sit and make up your tunes for love, and pour your simple sorrow to the sound hole and your knee. And now you're seen on giant screens and at parties for the press and for people who have slices of you from the company. They toss around your latest golden age speculation. Well, who's to know if the next one in the nest will glitter for them so? I guess I seem ungrateful with my teeth sunk in the hand that brings me things I really can't give up just yet. Now I sit up here, the critic, and they introduce some band, but they seem so much confetti looking at them on my TV set. Oh, the power and the glory, just when you're getting a taste for worship, they start bringing out the hammers and the boards and the nails. Sounded like applause. Chilly now, end of summer, no more shiny hot nights. It was just the arbutus rustling and the bumping of the logs, and the moon swept down black water like an empty spotlight.
Wow, that one. Wow, okay, that one was very, very powerful. Oh, that one was just so. It was so poignant because it wasn't just about her. It really was about. It was showcasing also everybody else's demons. And yeah, and that's why it feels so, you feel like there's multiple audiences for that song. There's multiple people included in that song. Not just people where you're like, oh, this is about James Taylor, about somebody or the business or this and that, but it's about, it's about the audience, the people that she feels beholden to, the people that she's even when she was on stage in the beginning and nobody knew her, right? It's like she's not playing in the forest, no sound, does it exist? If no one's there to hear it, does the sound exist? That's one of the things that's even beyond. You can take that beyond sort of the physics conundrum of if a sound happens in the forest and no one there to hear it, does it exist? But as a musician, if you're playing music and no one is there to hear it, does it exist? So that's where she's kind of like, is she ungrateful because she's wanting them to take it in a certain way, or she's wanting them to just be there but not have a reaction, or not have, does she just want, she doesn't know, does she want worship? Does she want the good and the bad? And really the imagery in this is just so cool. I just love the writing in this one. Down from, I heard it in the wind last night, it sounded like applause. And then ending with, and the moon swept down black water like an empty spotlight. Yeah, I mean, this is just like in her, this is just in her brain, like so much, like what she gets out of it, the power of the audience, the power of being able to transform audiences or transform people into the power that she feels, being able to, as she says, I mean, it's all through the lyrics, there's so much, get people to feel, getting them to feel like that. Your name in the news, everything's first class, the lights go down, it's just you up there, getting them to feel like that. Like what? But yeah, going back to the early days, remember the days you used to sit, you just make up your tunes for love and pour your simple sorrow to your sound hole, to the sound hole and your knee, just looking down, not even caring about the audience, just outpouring yourself for the sake of that, And now you're on giant screens and at parties for the press and people who have slices of you from the company. Speculation of if your next song is going to glitter for them. So, and that's something wild when you hear somebody like Joni Mitchell, who's been doing it now for, she's had, I don't know how many albums, was there 5 albums at this point? 6 albums, she's gone through quite a bit, and to feel like she still feels like she has to deliver and she's worried about, if the next one will glitter for them. So, like, I don't know, it's just striking because, her stuff is so profound to people. She doesn't feel the sense of her being the source of that, She feels like she has to work, to get that. She has to work to get them to feel like that, when it's just her, it's just her. It's coming from her. In other words, if she just delivers unto herself and just brings it out to the degree that she feels is, necessary to create that art, to have that creativity, it will have that reaction. It will glitter for them. But then, as she says, when you're just getting a taste for the worship, they start bringing out the hammers and the boards and the nails. Which, yeah, now that I think about it, at first I was like, oh, they're bringing out the hammers. Just in that itself, they're bringing out to criticize, to shout you down. And then at first when I was like, oh, and the boards and the nails, I was thinking, okay, they're building you a place where they want you to reside. They want to build you a cage, so they're going to put a cage around you. And now as I think about it, like, okay, wait, are they building her? Are they making her? Yeah, is she alluding to, putting up a crucifix or putting up a cross or crucifying somebody? Probably. Anyway, yeah, it's just crazy. But I really love the first line with the sound of the wind last night sounded like applause. And then the ending line of, and the moon swept down black water like an empty spotlight, Anyway, so yeah, as I said, and I love the guitar. When I first heard this, I love the guitar part. It's so simple. It's just a great descending, open tuning. And it's basically just a descending chord. I don't know if I don't remember the notes or the actual chords themselves, but it's all descending for the main verse. And it just has I just remember being intrigued by it from the very beginning. Anyway, let us, so just a quick part on this for the Roses. As she said, quickly in much later years, she said, this was her first farewell to show business. I was in Canada. I decided to quit show business, get away from all the pressures I felt. I put my thoughts into that song. To me, this was an unfair, crooked business and has nothing to do with real talent. I was up in Canada for about a year, and I guess it strengthened my nervous system a little, so I finally came back. As she initially said in February of this year, she said, this is another new song. It comes from the expression to run for the roses. You know what that's all about. When you take this horse and like he comes charging into the finish line, they throw a wreath of flowers around his neck, and then one day they take him out and shoot him. It's kind of a macabre thing to say, isn't it? I guess. As she said, in a lot of her songs, so all my life I've had a kind of a battle going, a running duality between the spiritual and the sensual, and I decided it was time to spiritual one out, at least for a little while. I looked around and my place had gotten kind of over opulent, and I thought that I had strayed off of some kind of path, like I was losing something. So I trekked back up to Canada, bought myself a piece of land, decided to put my money where my mouth was, and get myself generally back to the garden, or at least give it a try, for the Roses title track. So does this sum up, the entirety of the album? Obviously not. It's one big part of her disenchantment with what she had become, and feeling the adulation and feeling the power now of what she had put herself into in the music industry. And, in other words, she asked for a small drink, and she was given a waterfall, which had some, a beautiful view, but also some rocky paths at the bottom of the waterfall. So yeah, she was given her first taste of a really rocky road of ups and downs, and this was her first sort of breather to sort of recenter herself, spiritually, and find out, what's important. And this is what you get. So for the roses, yeah, the macabres of giving the adulation, and also at the end of it, taking you out of the race, sending you off to, taking off to the glue factory. Yeah, hope you enjoy that. And again, take care, guys. Thanks for enjoying this. Hope you enjoyed it. And let me know any of your feelings when this album set for you, what it means to you, and where you'd like to go next with a full album. Any recommendations? We'll filter it down into the next album list, and always single recommendations monthly. I'm gonna put those out. That's coming up soon too. All the best stuff that you guys have given me, and I appreciate it so much. It's really kind of turning over a new leaf into sort of exploring music, and it's great to hear some choices of you guys and just feel like it's a revolution in that sense. So, a revelation, I should say. But again, take care, guys. We'll see you on the next one. Have a great day. Bye-bye.